Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab. Or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are live in the studio today for Municipal Monday. I just teased you, Doug, before I turned everything on and thought, okay, how does all of this stuff work? It's been so long. It's been a month since I have been sitting in the studio doing a live show, and I could not think of a better person to be sitting across the desk from to do a live show today. Thank you for coming to hang out with me.
Not a problem, Janet.
So we're going to go through our normal list of, and I have to always joke, now that I have the opportunity to joke with you about this, it cracks me up that when you come in here for these radio shows, you always bring me this 4 or 5 page report, and at the top it says WFTR report. And I always thought that's funny because that always has told me who's been here for a while. Because I haven't changed the come heres and the from heres, that's a distinction when you're using WFTR as the main call letters for the station. So you want to start off with a coronavirus update? That's normally how we do it.
Yeah, and I think our latest numbers today were up 338. I think the state as a whole since Friday we're up around 3,000 cases. Obviously it's hot spots across the country in places like California, Texas, and Florida. Virginia has been kind of on the cooler side, but obviously we got a long way to go to get out of this thing. But county staff continue to monitor the situation and take the necessary precautions. As you're aware, earlier this month, Governor Northam issued Executive Order Number 67, which continues Virginia's path forward towards the reopening of the Commonwealth. This order began Phase 3 of the progressive easing of restrictions previously imposed. To implement the transition here in Warren County, we established social distancing measures that allow us to safely interact with the public during normal business hours. As such, all county offices and most services are open and available to the public. Accommodations will continue to be made for COVID-vulnerable employees on a case-by-case basis. On July 21st, so tomorrow, after the board approves, hopefully, our appropriation of CARES Act funds, we through the Chamber of Commerce, that's the current proposed direction, will begin the distribution of funds. This will benefit our local small businesses. We're looking still, we'll make a decision more about the potential for off-site educational access as far as whether it's additional broadband services for some of the underserved areas. We'll provide individual utility grants to enable the continuation of essential services and provide payroll expenses for our public safety employees to enable them to continue to respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency. Every week we've been highlighting employees who have gone what I would call above and beyond the call of duty to help during the COVID-19 pandemic, people who are helping to make sure that the county is prepared to meet the challenges presented by the coronavirus and who are ensuring that essential services are being provided to citizens. Last week, the county recognized Warren County Department of Fire and Rescue Services Deputy Emergency Coordinator Rick Farrell. From the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, Rick has been coordinating the county's response, submitting our daily sit reps to our local emergency management committee, and coordinating and hosting weekly conference calls among key leaders of the public and private industries, including representatives from the health, public utilities, schools, and public safety sectors. In addition, Rick has ensured the county is maintaining our PPE stockpiles and managing distribution both town and county and to other area businesses and industries, including our congregate care facilities, that was such the jail and our nursing homes and other facilities. And we've had a few outbreaks here locally with those. Lastly, Rick is coordinating the reimbursement submissions to VDEM and FEMA and working with the board on how to best equitably distribute the CARES Act funding. His hard work and dedication have been instrumental in the county's response efforts. Rick has been able to do all this and still manage our cost recovery program for fire and rescue. So to Deputy Emergency Coordinator Rick Farrell, thank you for all you've done and continue to do every day to help us through this pandemic.
I am a huge fan of Rick Farrell, and I am grateful that he was at your disposal when all of this stuff started, because he was the perfect person to be handling and managing this stuff.
They always say God gives you what you need, and at this time, Rick was exactly the person we needed to help lead this effort. So I know the chairman as well agrees with me that Rick's been instrumental, and we couldn't have gotten through it this well without him.
So how about the money side? How has that been shaking out with coronavirus?
So, I think we talked several months ago that when I talk about coronavirus vulnerable revenue, I'm talking about things like sales tax, meals tax, particularly when businesses can't open to the public for service, lodging tax for hotels, and also business and professional license taxes. Now, fortunately for BPOL, business license tax, they were due March 1. So this really didn't kick in until the second, third week of March, and that was based on their collections last year. So that part went extremely well, and we've exceeded our budget. So I'm pleased to report that for the month of April, the county share of local sales tax was $376,059, and that amount was up $49,127, or about 14% over the $329,439 collected in April of 2019. So we were up a pretty good amount. And I think what we're seeing, again, I think Warren's our economy is based on more of the staple needs that when we go to Walmart and Target and even Lowe's and things that we need. I think a lot of the Lowe's stuff and the Ramsey's stuff is people are home and doing projects because they're home and wanting. Meals tax for May was down $38,000 to $49,127. That was down about 44%. Again, May you had curbside and they're starting to open back up. Lodging was down $3,342 to $14,557. That was a 19% drop. I think the good news is that when you add those two numbers up, sales tax made up the difference.
So it all kind of leveled out.
People, they're not going out to eat as much, but they're maybe spending more money at the grocery store. So all those things, I feel like we're going to be able to weather the storm on the revenue side. Doesn't talk about the other expenses and things, but on the revenue side, I feel really good that so far we've been able to weather it. Now, real estate and personal property, they were due June 5th, but we're not collecting penalty and interest starting until August 6th. So people had a 60-day grace period to be able to come in and pay their taxes without getting penalized. That'll run out here in 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll see how so far those numbers look pretty good. But assuming those numbers hold up, I think we'll have gotten through the FY 19-20 budget successfully navigating COVID-19.
Well, I will tell you mentioned the projects and people going out. We had a run in mid-May till about mid-June where every weekend, for whatever reason, for this project or another, we were spending in excess of $150 every Saturday at Lowe's. And then we finally got to a weekend where we're thinking, okay, everything's done. Well, what's Lowe's going to do? I mean, we're not going to be there today, and we're not going to be spending money. That was Father's Day weekend, and here comes Josh saying, hey, I want to get Tim something for Father's Day, and we went and bought him a cart that he can put behind his lawnmower that, ironically enough, was $149.
There you go. So,
you're welcome, Warren County.
You're helping keep Lowe's going for us.
So tell me about Development Review Committee, because that's always my favorite update.
So they last met on June 24th. They've got a meeting coming up this Wednesday. Committee discussed projects in the county, including they've got a number of pending short-term tourist rental applications out there, a proposed private Montessori school out on East Refuge Church Road, the multi-tenant buildings going up there at Riverton Commons. That's where the old Chevy Chase Bank building was. That's been torn down. New buildings coming up. It's taking shape. Building permits have been approved for Chipotle, and the Five Guys restaurant has been approved by zoning. It's under review by building inspection. So that's moving along very well. Committee also discussed projects in town, including the update on the new War Memorial Hospital, and I saw where I think they announced it's going to be pushed back a little bit, but at least by summer of next year, they'll be ready to open the facility. I think slowed a little bit by COVID, but they're still making great progress on the project. Also, Harbor Freight will be opening soon, the former Big Lot space, so that's moving along. And if we've talked earlier, you've been by, Sheetz is ramped up, and I know they were planning sometime in August before Labor Day to be ready to open, and they've been going great guns and making great progress here the last couple of weeks on the site.
Well, I mentioned at the top of the show, I have not been to the station in over a month, so I was paying particular attention as I'm driving in today. I haven't crossed the bridges in over a month, and I noticed that right between the bridges on the right, there used to be a building that now cars are parked there, the Bentley or Rolls-Royce guy.
Yeah.
That building is suddenly gone. And then I cross the bridges and I look over and Sheetz looks virtually done. It looks like they could open any time now.
Well, they're certainly getting close. Yeah, they haven't set a date, but I knew all along they were planning to be up and ready and running before Labor Day. So we'll see when that
And we were at Lowe's yesterday. I saw there was a building where there wasn't one the last time I was at Lowe's, and I was thinking, Five Guys, they're coming soon, Five Guys.
So committee will meet again on July 22nd. That's this Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the Government Center. You got time? Building inspections?
Yep, let's do building inspections, and maybe squeeze in tourism, and then we'll take a break.
So in review of the new construction for the first half of 2020, that's January through June, I want to report that we had 74 new home starts. Of that number, 13 were located in the town limits, the town Front Royal, the other 61 outside town limits. As a comparison, in 2019, for the full year, we had 150. So if you project the 74, that'd be 178. Based on that 148, that'd be a growth in new housing stock about 0.86%, so still well below the kind of 2 to 3% maximum that was outlined in our comp plan, and below the average a little bit of what we've experienced overall since January 1, 2009. Of course, that was in the middle of the Great Recession. Right. For FY 1920, the number of total permits, so that's building, electrical, mechanical, all permits, was up. It's up significantly, up about 8.25% from 2121 to 2296, and the total number of inspections was up about 6.95% from 10,993 to 11,757. So COVID or no COVID, building activity is continuing to move forward in the community.
So give me a quick tourism update, and then we'll go to commercial.
So the Town Council and Board voted in June to outsource tourism services moving forward. Draft request for proposals for the outsourcing of tourism services is currently being finalized by the town and county. You've seen the town recently hired somebody kind of on a short-term basis.
Business recovery, something or another?
And so this would be what the long-term solution would be. So at least we've got a path forward, and we'll see where that takes us.
So, yeah, that's kind of the hope, because tourism is important. I know not always do people see it that way, but tourism that's where your good money is, because they come in, they spend it, and they leave. Exactly. You don't have to educate them, and you don't have to provide water to their houses or any of that kind of stuff. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into what's left on the list, because I know you've got some projects you want to give me updates on, wayfinding, signage. We'll do all that in the second half. Does that work?
That works.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. We are live in the studio today for Municipal Monday. We are having our conversation with Warren County Administrator Doug Stanley. I am Janet Michael, and you are listening to The Valley Today.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Municipal Monday live in the studio today. Sitting across the desk from me is Warren County Administrator Doug Stanley, my favorite county administrator. And one of the last things on the list, Doug, for us to go over is wayfinding signage, which is pretty important because you want people to know how to get around town when they're visiting.
It is, and this is something that we've been working on for a number of years. In particular, Taryn Logan, planning director for the county, has been working. She was working with Felicia Hart when Felicia was with the town, but working on kind of a joint project between the town and county for wayfinding signage. And that's really, for us, it's about getting people off the interstate, giving them direction in and to the different amenities that this community has to offer, and whether those amenities are Shenandoah National Park,
any of the
Skyline
golf courses,
Drive, the golf courses. It could be downtown, the visitor center, and stuff like that. But Taryn presented the project to representatives from Central VDOT Office Traffic Engineering Division for wayfinding and our local VDOT residency. VDOT is supportive of the proposal because out in the county, VDOT is in charge of the right-of-way and signage. Right. They have to sign off on it. They're also supportive of the designs, the proposed routes and destinations. They were also complimentary of how the town and county have worked together. A lot of times we get criticized for not working together, and here's a great example of where we worked together to coordinate a consistent and integrated wayfinding signage system throughout the community. They provided several additional comments on July 2nd. Our consultant has addressed these comments and will be submitting 100% complete construction intent documents to us by the end of this week. The next step is to move forward with the bid process for installation and work with the local residency to coordinate final sign locations in the field. So we're excited about that, continuing to move forward and down the road. Maybe it's spring of 21 before stuff actually gets in the ground. There's a lot of work to get there, but a lot of work's already been accomplished, and we've got necessary approvals, so we're excited about that moving forward.
Yeah, you've got less work to move ahead than what you've already put into it, so that's
Absolutely.
Always a good sign.
Yep. Rivermont Fire Station, the project's about 70% complete based on billing through June. Still shooting for a fall target date. I'd say the September-October timeframe. I know Joe will be happy once we're there, and it's starting to really take shape. If you haven't had a chance, go by and take a look at it. It's really starting to look like a fire station.
Oh yeah, he texts me pictures of updates every couple of days.
And we talked about some of the only other industrial project, the Equus Warehouse facility. They've resubmitted site plans, which were comments they received back in March. So I think that'll be moving forward here in the next few months as well. They've, when you have to go through DEQ and all your stormwater permits, it takes a while, but they're getting closer on that.
So I have managed to keep it together through this whole show and didn't mention anything at the top of the show. But since we're going to be wrapping up in the next couple of minutes, this is going to be our last Municipal Monday radio show together because you are moving forward.
I am moving forward. I have spent the past 25 years and a half or so of my life serving the Front Royal Warren County community. The last 20 as county administrator. During that time, I've worked at the pleasure of the Board of Supervisors and appreciated, and this is all the board members, past and present, their confidence, trust, and support over the years. Over this period, I've had the fortune and honor to be part of significant improvements for this community in replacing first lost jobs and tax base, the former Avtex facility, with over $500 million in industrial development and the creation of over 2,000 jobs in the Route 345-22 corridor. That was the biggest thing facing us in the mid-'90s, and we've done a good job of that. And that doesn't include the $1 billion investment by Dominion.
Billion with a B.
With a B. And that really has given us a lot more flexibility financially as a community. The county has been able to attract significant retail development to the corridor, which provides our residents with shopping and dining opportunities while generating tax revenue to reduce the county's reliance on real estate taxes. I know when I moved here, if you wanted to go out to eat in a lot of cases, or if you wanted to go shopping, it was either Kmart or go to Walmart in Winchester or the mall. We have options locally, and I think it's great. It's improved the quality of life for our citizens. And again, it's nice that those tax dollars stay here to build our schools, not schools in Winchester. We've also made tremendous strides in addressing the capital facility needs of our community, thanks to the vision and support of the various members of the board through the construction of school, community, parks and recreation, and public safety facilities. I'm proud that we've been able to make all these improvements and additions to our community while still maintaining one of the lowest real estate tax rates in the region. That's no small feat. I've been fortunate and blessed to work with an outstanding and professional staff of talented individuals who work hard to improve the quality of life for our citizens on a daily basis. I'm talking about down to the custodians, people that care about this community and the service they provide. Without doubt, the past year has been one of the most difficult and challenging in my career. That said, I believe we've made strides in bringing those responsible for the EDA embezzlement to justice and recover what's been stolen, as well as supporting the current EDA board and staff to continue to clean up the mess. It's going to take a few more years to get through that. To the community, I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to serve you as county administrator and plan director and zoning administrator over the past 25 years. Warren County has been able to strike a balance between economic growth and protecting rural character, scenic vistas, and the special places that we as a community treasure. I know in my heart that I leave Warren County a better community, a stronger, more resilient community that is poised to continue to flourish in the coming years.
And I will say I hope so, because I know that your leadership has been at the helm of a lot of different things. And I knew when I realized this was going to be our last show, I did a little digging and a little research of my own, because I knew you were going to walk in here and you were going to want to do business as usual. You were going to want to say your goodbyes, but I think it needs to be said. And since it's my show, I get the last word. So I made a list of things that have happened under your tenure as county administrator and over the 25 years that you have worked for the county. There is a brand new high school. Skyline High School wasn't here when you became county administrator. That happened under you. Warren County has been renovated. There is a new middle school. There is a renovation going on at Skyline Middle School, E. Wilson Morrison, Russie Jeffries, Rhodes Elementary School. They're all getting renovations, and in some cases they look like brand new schools under your leadership. There is a courthouse renovation in addition. There is the government center, which I didn't even know until I started doing a little digging. The community center, the public safety building. Let's see, you're not the only one with a list. Now I have a list. There is the Health and Human Services Complex, of course, Rivermont Fire Station, Samuel's Public Library, the jail. That was a piece of land. There wasn't anything there now, and now there is the regional jail. And that doesn't even get into Bing Crosby Stadium, Easton Park, Rockland Park, the Soccerplex, the boat landings, Fantasyland, Linden Park. There's a splash pad at Fantasyland now. The Thompson Kiss and Ride, which you and I had many conversations about being called the Kiss and Ride. And then all of the bridge work. Is there a bridge left in Warren County that you haven't touched in some way in the last 20 or 25 years?
Nothing of any significant size. And the good news is they'll all last 75 to 100 years. So our infrastructure is in good shape moving forward. Yeah.
And cleanup of Avtex. You mentioned that a minute ago. I am old enough to remember what Avtex was like in the before times.
And that took a lot of people, and I was just fortunate to be one of a number. But, I think the whole idea of getting that site clean and green and ready to be sold and marketed for new development is a great coup for this community. It really is.
Well, and I think just having you at the helm has been a great coup for this community. And I know I had a conversation with Andrew on the phone before we came in the studio to do the radio show, and he wanted me to express his gratitude and his thankfulness for everything that you have done for Warren County as a whole as administrator, and the things that you've done to help us here at the radio station to grow. So I wanted to make sure that I passed that along as well.
No, and the organization, and thanks to Andrew, that they have a community focus. It's not all about music and weather. All that stuff's great, but y'all always incorporate, whether it was Tourism Tuesday or different aspects, but allowed us to help get the word out about the good things going on in the community, not just the negative.
Well, and as tacky as it sounds, the thing that I am the most grateful for you for is, of course, Target. I have to thank you for Target, because that is my happy place.
You and my daughter.
I know, right? But we are going to wrap up today's conversation. It is our last Municipal Monday with Warren County Administrator, but that does not necessarily mean it is going to be our last conversation with Doug Stanley. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that I can play some role in where you land. I will say that a month ago, I had a conversation with Felicia Hart. She was interim during the conversation on the air, and 2 days later, she was permanent.
See, you're good
So
luck.
you just need to tell me where you want to go, and I will make it happen so that you can keep coming back here and having conversations with me every month. But thank you so much. Warren County is a much, much better place because you have been here, and I'm not 100% sure it's going to be as great with you gone.
Well, thank you, Janet. And I hope you're wrong, and I hope things keep trucking because, having given half of my life to get where we're at, I want to see the community continue to strive and succeed.
On that note, we are going to wrap up today's conversation. Tomorrow's Tourism Tuesday. Meet me back here a few minutes after noon, and I will have that show ready to go for you.